In the fall of 1997, something strange began happening in a quiet rural community outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Every weekday morning, at exactly 6:47 a.m., a yellow school bus appeared on a lonely country road. It looked completely normal. The bus stopped at the same locations, opened its doors, and picked up children. Then it disappeared into the rolling hills beyond town. At first, nobody thought much about it. School buses were a common sight. But after a few weeks, parents started asking a simple question. Which school did that bus belong to? The answer should have been easy to find. Instead, it would become the beginning of one of the strangest local mysteries anyone could remember. The bus followed the exact same route every morning. Farmers working their fields saw it. Gas station employees watched it pass by. Residents drinking coffee from their front porches noticed children climbing aboard. The vehicle looked old but well maintained. It carried no school district markings, no visible number. No logo. Just a plain yellow bus moving silently through the countryside. What made the situation unusual was that nobody recognized the children. Small towns are places where people know each other, yet every witness seemed to describe unfamiliar faces. Some assumed the children came from neighboring counties. Others believed it was a private school transportation service. Nobody paid much attention until local parents began making phone calls. When residents contacted nearby school districts, officials were confused. None of them owned the vehicle. Transportation departments checked their records. No route matched the description. No licensed driver had been assigned to that area. The mystery deepened when neighboring districts reported the same thing. The bus didn't belong to any school system in the region. Curiosity quickly spread throughout the community. A local newspaper reporter named Daniel Mercer decided to investigate. At first, he expected a simple explanation. Maybe a private academy, maybe a church-sponsored program. But after weeks of inquiries, he found nothing. No private school claimed responsibility. No educational organization admitted operating the route. The bus existed only through eyewitness accounts. Mercer began interviewing residents who regularly saw the vehicle. Their stories were remarkably consistent. The bus arrived at nearly the same minute every day. It picked up children at the same locations. Witnesses described boys and girls ranging from elementary school age to teenagers. Yet nobody could identify a single child by name. Then things became even stranger. One resident provided Mercer with a photograph taken from a distance. The image was grainy, but the bus was clearly visible. When investigators enlarged the photograph, they noticed something unusual. The license plate appeared completely blank, not damaged, not dirty. Blank. For nearly 8 months, the bus continued its routine. Then, without warning, it vanished. One Monday morning, residents waited to see it pass. Nothing happened. Tuesday came. No bus. Wednesday. Still nothing. It never returned. The disappearance transformed local curiosity into obsession. If the bus belonged to a legitimate organization, why would it suddenly stop operating? And where had all the children gone? Reporter Daniel Mercer continued investigating. He collected photographs, witness statements, and route maps. Yet every lead ended in frustration. There were no missing children reports connected to the case. No abandoned school programs. No records of a transportation company matching the vehicle's description. Eventually, the story faded from public attention. But it wasn't over. Nearly a decade later, Mercer was preparing to retire from journalism. While cleaning his attic, he rediscovered a box containing all his notes from the mysterious bus investigation. Curious, he decided to revisit the case one final time. Technology had improved significantly since the late 1990s. Old photographs could now be digitally enhanced. Mercer contacted an imaging specialist who agreed to analyze the original pictures. The results were disturbing. One photograph showed several children standing near the bus before boarding. Investigators attempted to identify them through school yearbooks, archived photographs, and public records. Not a single match was found. Hundreds of comparisons produced nothing. It was as if the children had never existed. Mercer then compared witness descriptions gathered years earlier. Many residents had independently described the same unusual detail. The children rarely spoke. They never played while waiting for the bus. They simply stood quietly and boarded when it arrived. The consistency of these accounts made the mystery even harder to dismiss. As Mercer dug deeper, he uncovered one final clue hidden among old county planning documents. In 1997, the bus route appeared to end near a heavily wooded section of land several miles outside town. Today, that area was empty forest. But historical records revealed that decades earlier, a small educational research facility had operated there before abruptly closing in the early 1980s. The facility's purpose remained unclear. Most records had been archived, transferred, or lost. Former employees were impossible to locate. The few surviving documents offered almost no answers. Had the bus been connected to the abandoned site? Nobody knew, and that uncertainty remains the most unsettling part of the story. Today, nearly 30 years later, residents who witnessed the strange bus route still remember it vividly. They remember the silent children, the unmarked vehicle, the route that led nowhere. Some believe it was an undocumented private program. Others suspect a long-forgotten government project. And a few insist there was something far stranger happening on those rural Pennsylvania roads.